Well, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here today at the Millennium Point. Are we all having a good day?
Yeah.
Yeah? Been a good day, hasn't it?
It's been lovely.
Yeah? You guys have had a stand. Eleni, you've joined us.
Yeah, it's been amazing and great turnout, I think.
Good. Glad to hear it. So we'll give you some quick intros and then we'll get stuck into our questions. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Natisha Patel. I'm a chef, food consultant and author here in Birmingham. I'm also one of the co-hosts. I will be up shortly with our keynote speech with Girat Assi, and I'm also one of the co-organisers as well. I'm going to hand you over now.
Good evening. I'm Dr. Farmah. I'm the medical director of Dr. Aesthetica. I'm a consultant psychiatrist by background who moved into aesthetics around 8 years ago. Opened a beautiful, lovely clinic branch with my partner, Kiran.
I'm Kiran. So I'm the co-founder of Dr. Aesthetica, and Dr. Aesthetica's, I think, 8 years old next week. So we do all things aesthetics, non-surgically, of course, and I'm also the skincare specialist there.
I'm Eleni. I'm a female wellness coach, and I focus on holistic weight loss, and we focus on sustainability in terms of empowering women and helping them with their confidence as well.
Great to meet you guys. So I'm sure you will all agree that weight loss, wellness, aesthetics, they are all on the rise. As social media is on the rise as well, we all like to look good. So I think it'll be interesting to ask the guys some questions today just to learn a bit more about aesthetics and then that holistic approach to weight loss as well and wellness, which I think is quite key. If I can start over here with you, Belle. So I'd like to know firstly, there's a lot going on in the industry of aesthetics. How can we safely navigate this world? Because we see so much on social media, and for me being a young female, every time I go on Instagram or Facebook, I'm looking at all these pictures of girls and they look absolutely beautiful. They've had all this work done and it makes me question myself. Should I get my lips done? Should I have Botox? I'm getting more wrinkles, and I don't want to feel like that, but I do. But the first thing for me personally is about safety. So I'd love to get your opinion on how we can navigate that.
I completely agree with you. The industry is highly unregulated. A lot of our treatments are not prescriptions, and therefore there is no true regulation. Technically, everyone in this room here can inject, and that's what makes this a really, really scary place. I've spent years honing my skill. I spent years teaching others, and even yet I'm still learning more, knowing more. So I guess it all comes down to doing your research, choosing the clinic, choosing the right reputation, choosing the right person who's had the career advice and learnt the experience to do it. These treatments do go wrong, and it's knowing how, when they go wrong, what you can do, and will that practitioner still be there? A lot of these pop-up clinics disappear the day after, they're not there. What do you do when they're gone? You end up finding another clinician and having to pay out twice. Instagram, unfortunately, is not a great place to find it. It's a good place to see before and afters. And unfortunately, for those who almost don't need these treatments, they get to see it. They're the vulnerable group that we need to protect. Choose when you need it, not when you want it. Don't know if you want to add anything to that, Karen.
I think it's like going to your GP for antibiotics and then you're like, by the way, can you just do a quick lipo on me? You're not going to do that. You're not ever going to ask that. I know that's a really extreme example, but by background, I'm a beauty therapist. I've obviously worked in skin, but I don't think I could ever put a needle into somebody's face knowing that there's so many risks associated with that. If something goes wrong, if the worst does happen, can I fix it? No. Can I even attempt to help? No. I haven't done a medical degree. I don't know the arteries in the face, the veins, the nerves, the muscles. What damage could I cause with that needle?
Yeah, really interesting answers from you both there. Thank you for that. And piggybacking off that, Eleni, just to come back to you, what role does mindset play in achieving that weight loss and wellness goal? Because again, weight loss can be a bit of a funny one and it can be a bit dangerous if we have a quick weight loss. So, in your opinion, let's talk about mindset.
Yeah, so for me, mindset is the key to everything when it comes to wellness and weight loss. I think if you're not in the right mindset in terms of being able to, develop better habits, be able to be disciplined, be able to be resilient, because when it comes to a wellness or a weight loss journey, there's a lot of setbacks that can happen. And there's a lot of things that can, come your way that can throw you off. And I think if you're in the right mindset, you're going to approach better, habits in terms of your nutrition. You're going to make better choices. You're going to feel more better in yourself. And I think when it comes to the mindset around weight loss, a lot of us can embody the mindset of restriction, but instead it's about self-compassion, it's about resiliency, and it's about confidence. So I think mindset is key.
Yeah, great answer there. And carrying on with that, what do you think the dangers are for those quick fixes? So we've spoken about having a good mindset, but on the flip side, what are the dangers?
So I think we are definitely in a generation of society where we want everything really quick and fast. Yeah. And I think the problem with quick fixes is that you might do something like a fad diet, for example, and you might do it for a quick result, but the result that you get isn't going to be sustainable, and it's not going to make you happy, and it's not going to help you really understand what it takes to get to a certain position. Yeah. So a lot of women that I coach, the journey that they go through, it's always the process that's the most uncomfortable. So you start at starting point where you set the goal and then you get to the goal, but it's that process where you really start to learn and educate yourself on nutrition, on being resilient, on being able to be consistent, which is like a massive when it comes to something like this. So I think you need to ask yourself, if you're someone who's looking at a quick fix, is this sustainable, and is this something that I can do long term? Or do I go down more of a consistent, more sustainable path where I can actually, be healthy with it? Because I think as well, quick fixes, we want to ask ourselves, if I reduce my calories, or if I overdo cardio, or if I, just drink this tea or have keto or whatever, it's understanding, am I actually giving my body the nutrition it needs? Am I moving my body how it needs to be moved? And am I actually feeling good on the inside, which a quick fix won't give you long term?
Fantastic.
Sorry, that was a long answer. But
no, it was really informative. Thank you so much for that. And I guess my next question, which applies to all three of you, Belle, we might start with you. How do we make safe, informed choices about treatments for yourself? But Eleni, towards the end of the question, those safe, informed choices about weight loss. But let's start here with you, Belle.
I think the best thing to do is evidence-based medicine. And evidence means it's all with data. It's not what's on social media. It's not what this person says. It's not what that person says. It's actually got true evidential data. And this is the problem in aesthetics. There's lots of things like Lumi eyes. They have no data whatsoever. Polynucleotides don't work, yet there's lots of fashionable fads for doing it. Just because someone says it's worth doing doesn't mean it is. And unfortunately, in social, that is often the heaviest driver.
I think also just because it's on social media doesn't mean it's the right thing for you.
Yeah.
And social media is not a great educational resource. That's probably the main thing I would say.
I'm going to be a little bit contradictory here. So my main platform is social media. I am predominantly on Instagram, and I lead from the front, and I present all of my results with my clients and how I work with my clients and what I do with myself, all on social media. So I think, so personally, so long as you are following the person and you're understanding that they're consistent as well, and I think having a chat with them and understanding them and building that relationship, then I think it makes sense. So I am more for the social media. I'm not injecting them, but I am telling them what to eat. I'm telling them what to train, which is a whole lifestyle change. So there's that trust in there. But I think, I don't know, I think moving forwards, I'm on social media, but that's not to say that everyone on social media should be trusted and should be brought into. Absolutely. Because I can see, I'm giving evidence, and I walk the walk and talk the talk.
You're absolutely right, but you're doing the evidence to go with it.
Yeah.
Your photos are your before and after evidence. Your track record is your evidence. Your testimonials is your evidence. So you're presenting evidence.
Yeah.
And actually, that works.
Yeah.
It's when you go, this person said this works. I want to try it. Let's go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
Just out of interest, can we have a show of hands of people that have thought about aesthetics or have used aesthetics in the audience? We've got a few people there. Show of hands for anyone that's had a weight loss journey. Few people. That's interesting. That is interesting there. So, Eleni, coming back to you then, you know, a lot of what you do is about empowering women, which is one of our key themes for the event. How can women overcome self-doubt and build their confidence in their own wellness journey? What do you do to help them?
I think self-doubt, we need to normalize it. We are human and it's normal to feel self-doubt, but I think it's not letting it control you and just understanding how to manage it. And then it's focusing on things like positive self-talk. It's things like being consistent. And I think it's, again, practicing that self-love and self-compassion, that if you fall, you get straight back up and you keep moving forwards, because I just think self-doubt is normal, but it's just learning how to manage it.
Yeah, really interesting. And Belle or Kieran, coming back to you guys, when should you get treatments? Do you just look at someone and think, oh, you could do with some treatments? How does that work?
Not very well. Often it comes, for me, from the emotional need. It's not when you see it, it's when you feel it. When you feel it and it bugs you day in, day out, and it's causing a kind of, it just doesn't go away. That is the time that I often find is the right time. Patients often come to me and say, it's this line here. And I go, yeah, is it though? But why now? What's caused it now? What's bothering you now about it? Well, actually, I don't feel like me. I just don't feel as happy as I used to be. I don't feel as confident as I used to be. That's when the emotional need really starts to show up. And I say to my patients, it's like an onion. The layer you're working on is the outside layer. The layer I'm working on is much, much deeper. And if I can work there, I'm going to make a meaningful change that's actually going to make a holistic benefit longer term and not just for the short duration. And that's what I'm very much after. I thrive personally when my patient goes, you've made such a big difference to my life. You don't truly understand how much confident I feel. I can go to work, I can do this, I can do that. And a lot of my procedures are more medical based, and I prefer it that way. It's not a fashionable beauty fad. It is very much how to change how someone feels confidence wise.
And something I've just thought about that I haven't got written down, but it's just come to me is, have you seen a correlation between these aesthetic treatments and mental health?
So my background as a consultant psychiatrist, I almost never neglect it. It's the bit that I recognize a lot in patients before they walk in. They may not recognize their low self-esteem or their low self-confidence. I see it, but they're actually more vulnerable than any other patient group. Because if I say, you need to do all of this, they'll go, okay. Because they're such in a vulnerable place. It takes an even more genuine person to say, no, let's do step by step. Let's build a trusting relationship. Let's do what you need to do at this moment in time, not what can you do. Everything on there is a shopping list. You can literally pick off every item. That doesn't mean you should have every item. And I often go about needs and wants. Just because you want it doesn't mean you need it. And it's separating those two. And I try and use those words as much. And the bit that often keeps me safer in this industry, go, would I do it for my mom?
That is such a great answer. And you know what? We should all think like that. Would I do it for my mum? Would I let my mum do this? And we need to ask those questions a lot more in these industries. Sadly, you know, we've seen a rise of aesthetics going the wrong way. But it's important that we have people like yourselves that are doing it responsibly, effectively, and when the mental health is in a good place, a good state for that patient. Great answer there. So carrying on with you, Belle, for anyone in the audience that is interested in aesthetics, how would you choose the practitioner or the injector?
That's a good question. And I think this is where social media does help a little bit. Getting to know someone beforehand. And this is one of the reasons I've chosen an exhibition, because you get to meet me face to face in a non-confrontational environment. I do a lot of things remotely. I'll do a lot of photo consultations. Patients will send me pictures in and I'll go give them some true advice, what they can do. But also when you read the blogs, you read prices. It's also worth making sure your practitioner is registered with the GMC, if they're a doctor, if they're with a nursing council, an NMC, if they're registered with the CQC, that's a Care Quality Commission. Any good medical practice should be registered with the Care Quality Commission. They should also have a good reputation. Google reviews I often find are a really good place here because they can't often be falsified and they're not fake. And that's really where I want to make authenticity. Testimonials, but again, a lot of these things have the opinion of being manipulated, and it's finding as many truthful factors as you can in that. A good consultation actually tells you a lot. If you come into a room and they go, right, you said you want this, get onto the bed, that would be my first red flag. That is the time to get up and walk straight out. I spend probably 20 to 30 minutes just talking, understanding, knowing the why, knowing what outcomes you want, how you want it. Once I got all that understood, then can I make a true treatment plan? I can't make a true treatment plan until that point. Therefore, I can't manage you safely. And so for me, check that they've been around. I don't think pop-up clinics are my go-to place. Mobile clinics, again, it's when things go wrong. And the good question I often ask, well, if this goes wrong, what would we do next? And actually, that's a really good way of checking, can they manage complications? How would they do it? Can they follow it through? And it's a good way of safety netting it through.
Kieran, did you want to add anything to that?
I think the main thing is when you go for a consult as well, keep asking questions. I think that's your safest thing to do. Ask the questions, even if you think they're hard, even if you think they're silly. The best consults that we've ever had in clinic are those when patients ask you those hard questions. That means they've done their research as well.
That's really good to know. Excellent. Eleni, coming back to you then. What are some common myths about weight loss and wellness that hold women back, and how can we overcome them?
Common myths. One that springs to mind is cutting calories. It is not as simple as calories in versus calories out. We have to manage our macronutrients as well. So that's definitely one. Another one is excessive cardio. I was definitely a victim of that when I first started out my journey. But again, it's not about, eating something and going and burning it off, or it's not about running on a treadmill and it says you've burnt 200 calories and then going and eating that. It's not, that's definitely a myth. And I think the kind of quick fix mindset, again, going back to that, again, just society, we're always looking for something that's quick and instant to give us results because that's what motivates us to keep going. But it's really about the longevity of it and the consistency. So I think they're the 3 top myths that I see a lot of with clients that come to me, where I'm instantly trying to squash it and help educate them on the right mindset to sustainability and a holistic approach.
Excellent. Brilliant. I'd now like to open the floor to any questions, if anybody did have a question about weight loss or aesthetics. No. Edwin Ladd, you've always said that I'm not allowed to have any aesthetic treatments. Have you changed your mind?
Exact good answer.
That's the good answer.
Right answer. Thank you. Come on. Let's give Edwin Ladd the mic.
So I haven't got children yet, but when they get to a certain age and they're watching TV and they're watching things like Love Island and they're seeing all these people and they think that's what I should look like, and then they go to their parents, how should a parent approach that when their child's saying, oh, I want this treatment done? What would you say to them?
That's a good question.
Oh, okay, great.
I mean, I can answer, but, I think the medic needs to answer here. Obviously, with us both having 2 young girls, they're 11 and 9, they are going to be heavily influenced by social media. I know that. We're both aware of that. So I think it's about sitting down with them and finding out, well, where is this coming from? So is it that they're hearing this at school maybe, or they're seeing it on social media? Are they seeing it on TV? What have they been exposed to for them to maybe think like that? Where has this insecurity come from? And I think from there, you can then work as a team, because it is a team effort, to then see how you can help with those aspects that they might be bringing up.
I do feel sorry for this new generation coming through. I don't think I could live in a world of full social media, full lifestyle, everything being documented, the whole works. It's like you're under scrutiny 24/7. And to have your perfect life on show at all times by every matter, it gives us perfectionist lifestyle and it's not sustainable. And I think actually there's a lot more trend coming through. And it's also their feeds need adjusting. There are lots of different feeds where it shows what natural looks like, how you can keep healthy, how you can be internally healthy, not just externally healthy, because it is about keeping the balance. There will always be someone that's got this more than you or this more than you, and something that you always want to achieve more. But it's about educating and remembering the norms and just saying, actually, not everything you see is picture perfect. And I think it's going to take a lot of work on this generation to make sure that they're safe and secure mentally and emotionally and psychologically. And I don't envy this next group.
Yeah, I just wanted to add to that. So, because I think social media now, from when I was younger, social media wasn't around, obviously, and it was more about Barbies. And being a non-Caucasian woman, looking at Caucasian Barbies, and also being in school where I was the only non-Caucasian in there, I was highly confused up until the age of 12. And I think it's okay to, you know, like Love Island as well, I look at some of the girls and I'm like, wow, look at her lips or her cheekbones or whatever. And I think it's okay to appreciate it and maybe aspire to some degree of being like that. Yeah. But I think it's also honing in on kind of like what you said about, is there an insecurity? But I think also it's okay to see beauty and want that as well. But I think it's also important to stay in your own lane as well. Because I think through just my own personal experience, through growing up, I went from being confused to then like absolutely loving that I've got curly hair and being unapologetic about it, and loving that I do have darker skin, and you know, I might have more hair than a Caucasian person, as in like hairy, and it's, you just embrace it and you stay in your authentic self. So I think there's like good and bad ways to see it. And the same with social media. I think you can either be a consumer or use it to your advantage. And I think that's where, again, it's just understanding how you're using it and having that control. And I think that's something that I would teach my kids with that as well.
Eleni, that was such a beautiful answer. And honestly, I'm 36 now, but growing up, and I was talking to someone about it today, when I was growing up and I'd watch TV, I couldn't see anyone that looked like me. And I had ringlets, I've got big plump lips, the curly hair, the curves, and no one in my school looked like me and no one on TV looked like me. And I just didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. But now I see so many women of color on TV. I see people like yourself that run businesses and have your own clients. And this is what the next generation needs. So if we can use it on social media, let's do it. Let's use it to our advantage. Let's make the most of our non-Caucasian backgrounds. We should be proud of our ethnicity, our ethnic backgrounds. And so many people have come up to me today saying how diverse this event is. And that's one thing that Kasim and Edwin were so passionate about. Sorry, I've got Edwin on my mind. Diverse panelists. So it resonated with me with what you said. And I've just gone back to when I was a teenage girl. And yeah, we didn't have social media. And yeah, we didn't have the aesthetics. But on the flip side, we had no representation. And I'm so proud of our generation to see what we're doing. So keep it up. Keep it up. Right, guys, we've got a few minutes before we wrap up. Eleni, where can we see or hear more about what you do?
You can definitely find me on Instagram. My handle is coach_EOC for Eleni Online Coaching, or on LinkedIn for Eleni Constantinou, but the second name's a bit long, so maybe Instagram for coach_EOC.
And for yourselves?
You can find us on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Where do you want to find us? At Dr. Aesthetica.
And if anyone is interested in what I do, I'm chef_Natisha on Instagram, or natishapatel.com for my website. Thank you so much. You've been an amazing panel audience. We do have our keynote speech upstairs at 4 p.m. So please do join us if you can. We shall see you there. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.